Wisp is one of the best support frames in the game. Sometimes the best way to support the team is to destroy everything before it gets a chance to hurt them, so that's what this build does. I'm using a single casting speed shard. You probably don't need it, I just think the build feels a little bit better with it. If you want to add more shards, power strength is probably the best kind to add. Don't worry about the 7 forma on this build. You don't actually need that many, I just did a lot of experimenting, that's why it's so high. Her passive ability makes her invisible while in the air, as long as you're not shooting a gun. You can abuse this by bunny hopping. There's a small grace period when you land before you become visible again. Her first ability, Reservoirs, places a flower on the ground that gives one of 3 motes to any allies that go near it. The flowers remain there pretty much forever, but you can only have up to 6 of them active at any time. The 7th one will replace the first one you cast. The first mote is Vitality, which will increase your maximum health and also give you health regeneration over time. It's pretty good for normal star chart missions in early Steel Path, but eventually it stops being all that useful when enemies start to scale kinda high. The second mote is the Speed mote, which makes you move faster and increases fire rate and melee attack speed. You pretty much always want to have this one active. If you really want to min-max, you can actually drop the attack speed mod from your melee weapon and use this instead. Put an extra damage mod on your melee weapon. The last mote is the Shock mote, which deals a tiny bit of electricity damage and inflicts an electricity status effect on enemies that go near any ally with that mote or the flower itself. Because they do electricity damage, they can activate Archon Stretch. I replaced her second ability with Komei's Omamori. Omamori gives you a random number of Omamori between 10 to 20. They each give you a 50% chance to negate an instance of damage which will consume an Omamori. It gives a little extra survivability and helps with shield gating. Her third ability is Breach Surge. It creates an AoE around Wisp that blinds enemies and puts a debuff on them that makes it so that when they take damage, there's a chance for a spark to be emitted that will fly out of the enemy and seek out other enemies nearby. It basically turns every attack into an AoE. Since it blinds enemies, it makes them a little more vulnerable to melee damage. There's also a synergy with her first ability where if you have line of sight to one of the flowers, you can aim at it and then cast Breach Surge to teleport to the flower, and then it'll create the AoE. You can use that to quickly travel around open areas. Her fourth ability is Soul Gate. It fires a laser at enemies. It gets buffed by the motes from her first ability, but without the augment, it's mostly useless. For the aura, I'm using Brief Respite. This, combined with the auger mods in the build, gives enough shields to shield gate effectively. If you don't want to use Brief Respite or you don't have it, Corrosive Projection, Energy Siphon, and Dreamer's Bond are all good alternatives. For the Exilus slot, I'm using Fused Reservoir. This is the augment for her first ability. It makes it so that you drop all 3 flowers with a single cast. Keep in mind that with this augment you only get 2 casts before it starts overwriting your reservoirs. Archon intensifies here because the Vitality mote can activate its secondary effect. Healing your companion or allies with the Vitality mote also counts. If you don't like the unreliability of this, you could use Umbral Intensify or Normal Intensify if you want. Rhyme continuity is here just for more duration. Transient Fortitude is here for more strength. Archon Vitality is here because the extra heat procs makes her 4 do a lot more damage. Also, the additional health is going to help with Arcane Bellicose. Augur Message is here for more duration, and also it helps with shield gating. Cataclysmic Gate is the main focus of the build. Instead of her 4 being a channeled beam, it creates a small orb where you aim, and enemies standing near that orb will take constant heat damage along with heat and radiation status effects. This combined with Archon Vitality can do a lot of damage, even more so with Breach Surge. Augur Reach is here for more range and better shield gating. Archon Stretch is here because the shock modes can activate the secondary effect, making the ability pretty much pay for itself. If you're doing a mission where you can hang out in one area for a while, this gives you a constant source of free energy. Bolt Augmented gives more strength as the mission progresses and you kill more enemies. Arcane Bellicose gives more strength with higher health values. With the Vitality mode active, this will give you an extra 24% power strength at the start of a mission. As Bolt Augmented scales up, your reservoirs will also be more powerful, which will give you more health. So this will give you even more strength as the mission goes on as well. With 3 Archon mods and a primed mod, this build is very obviously not new player friendly, so I have this build here that it is new player friendly. It plays pretty much the same way as the other build, and you can actually replace these mods with the mods from the other build as you obtain them. Despite this being a new player build, it's actually capable of doing okay in early Steel Path, but you might have to shoot a gun every now and then. This build doesn't actually need any forma even on regular Wisp, but you will need an Orokin reactor to use it. Weapons don't really matter. I do like to carry a shotgun though, just in case anything manages to survive her 4. For the focus, I recommend bringing Xeneric just in case, especially if you're using the new player build, because you might need some extra energy every now and then. The companion doesn't really matter, you can bring whichever one you like. To play the build, you just make sure you always have your motes up. Make sure you've got Omamori up. Then you just jump into a group of enemies, cast Breach Surge, and then cast Soul Gate, and everything dies. Tougher enemies like the heavy gunners and bombards will take a little longer, but if you're in a hurry, you can just shoot them with your gun. If you're running the new player build, you might have to shoot them with your gun, but overall, it's a pretty powerful build. That's the teleporting thing I mentioned with the Breach Surge. I think she's one of the best frames in the game. She's a great support. She has good damage. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd click the like button. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. Thanks for watching and enjoy the gameplay.